Hey everybody, welcome to my vinyl channel. I'm that Vinyl Guy Boss. So this is going to be my vinyl tag for 2024. Rob Walker, of course, put out his vinyl tag. I know I'm coming in around the end of this. There's a lot of these tags already out there. My daughter came into town just a day or two after the new year, and she's been here, so I'm spending time with her and my family. Haven't had time to really do much in here as far as the records and these videos. But today I have some time, so I'm going to go ahead and get to this vinyl tag. So of course, Rob Walker has 20 questions, and I'll put them down below as well if you want to go ahead and actually look at them. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with these 20 questions. So the very first one is favorite record you purchased in 2023. So that would be this record right here. This is the soundtrack to Wayne's World. Got it about 4 or 5 months ago. Got it shipped from Korea. Now this is a 1992 pressing. Back in 1992, there weren't a whole lot of records being pressed, of course. And I don't believe that this was pressed in the U.S. It was only pressed in a few countries, one being Korea. So this here is a Korean pressing. You can even see a little bit of the sticker there. It's Korean. But of course, I'm a big fan of Wayne's World. Watched on SNL, and I watched both movies, and it's awesome. So I was very happy to finally go ahead and pick up the soundtrack to Wayne's World. So there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the second question. The last record you bought in 2023. So this here is a record that I actually pre-ordered in 2023. I actually gave them my money in 2023, even though I didn't receive it until the first week of January, but I think this counts. So a lot of people don't know, but it was the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and Def Jam Recordings reissued several other hip hop artists in celebration of this. So even though it says 50 years down here, they're not saying that the Beastie Boys that this record is 50 years old. They're celebrating 50 years of hip hop. This is a great pressing. They actually pressed this record on this what they call something fruit colored. It's the same color down here, which they call is it fruit juice colored? I think they call it. So the record is fruit juice colored. Haven't had time to open it. It's a record that I actually have not had in my collection. I know it's been available. It's a record that's not hard to come by, but it's a record that I just never bought. And when I saw that Def Jam had done the special edition for the 50 years of hip hop, I decided to go ahead and pick it up. And that was the last purchase that I made in 2023. Okay, so moving on to question number 3. A band or singer who released 2 or more albums in the same year. So I'm going with the year 1976, and the artist is Phil Collins. Now he didn't release these albums, he was part of these 2 different bands, but I think that counts. So the first band here is Brand X. So this is a jazz fusion band. It's a British band. This is their debut album. It came out in 1976. Technically, it was issued in 1975 in the UK, but in the United States, it was not issued in 1976. Being in the United States, I'm going with that date. So this was issued in 1976. The name of the album is Unorthodox Behavior. And again, Phil Collins was part of this group. He played drums. So there we go. That's the first album. And the next album is Genesis. This here is A Trick of the Tail. Also came out in 1976. It's the first album with that Peter Gabriel, and Phil Collins was also on this album as well. So these are the 2 albums here that came out in 1976, and had Phil Collins on both of these albums. Okay, question number 4. If you could only listen to music from one decade, which decade would you pick? Now, I love the 1980s. I graduated high school in 1980s. 1980s was when I first started buying records with my own money, and so I love the music from that decade. I would say 70% of the music in this room right now around me is from the 1980s, so I'm going to go with the 1980s. I know it's surprising to you, but yes, I'm going with the 1980s. Show a record by a band or a singer from Manchester. I believe this is a question because Rob Walker is from Manchester. So I had to really, figure this one out. But I came up with this here. This here is Simply Red. Simply Red is from Manchester. This is If You Don't Know Me By Now. Very cool. I believe this was originally purchased in a German store because it has a German stamp. Not sure if you can see that right there, but it has a German stamp right there in the center of the sleeve. But there you go. That's my record by a group from Manchester. Okay, so question number 6. Which band or singer did you listen to the most in 2023? Very hard to figure this out. I listen to a lot of music. But I will say that I really got into this band. Now, I got into them a couple years ago, but only had one of their records. But last year, over the summer, I was in a record store. They had a huge, I'm talking about huge, about the size of this room. No, twice this room size of just bargain records, most between $2 and $4. I spent several hours in there, and I picked up 2 additional records from this band. And so really great stuff. And this year I've gotten 3 other records by them. So I have listened to them a lot. But this here is Vandenberg. This is the best of Vandenberg, which is the very last record I bought from them. I got it in November. But I did listen to Vandenberg a lot last year. Question number 7 shows 7 7-inch records. So I pulled some out here. Let's see what we got. So I think I have 8 here, so I'm going to take one out. So yeah, I'll take that one out. So here we go. Here are 7 7-inch records. The first one is David Lee Roth, Stand Up. Very, very cool. The next one is Weezer, Pork and Beans. Okay, very cool. 7-inch record. The next one we have is select tracks from the soundtrack to Aliens. Okay, which is the second movie in the Alien franchise. The next one here is a reissue that came out last November. Bobby Borapickett's version of the Monster Mash. I just haven't got around to opening it and playing it yet, but it's very cool. There we go. We have the new one by the Beatles, Now and Then. Okay, so that's a 7-inch record. And finally, we have Bozo the Clown. This is a 24-page storybook. It has a 7-inch record in there. I do believe the record is 33 RPM. Nope, it says here 45. So the record is 45 RPM, but it's a storybook and it has the record and it's a read along. So very, very cool. Okay, so question number 8. Who is coming to your party? Choose 4 music-related people coming to imaginary dinner party. Past or present, who would you invite? And I decided to go ahead and get my wife involved in this. I went out and asked her if any 4 people that you want to, invite to a dinner, music-related, who would you pick? So I'm going to tell you exactly what she told me, and I wrote it down right here. So she said Mozart, David Grohl from Foo Fighters. We have Beethoven, and we have Brian May from Queen. Now, of course, it'd be interesting because I don't think Mozart or Beethoven speaks any English, so I'm not sure, how much conversation we're going to get from them. But get David Grohl and get Brian May to play some amazing music, and I bet you we can get some kind of reaction out of Mozart and Beethoven. I think it'll be a very good time. We lost them. Choose one musician who passed away in 2023. So I chose Harry Belafonte. He passed away last year. He is a calypso singer, and he's best known, for a couple songs, but mainly for the song I know him from is from Deo, which appeared in the Beetlejuice movie. But very cool. Unfortunately, last year we lost Harry Belafonte. So question number 10. Imagine I could listen to only music from only one country. What country would that be? So, of course, I'm very partial to the music from the U.S. I grew up in the U.S. A lot of amazing U.S. bands. There are also a lot of great bands from the U.K. as well. So that's a very, very close second. But I'm going to have to say the United States. That's where most of the music that I really like came from. Okay. Question number 11. Name 3 vinyl community channels that you discovered in 2023. I wrote them down here, so I have my list. That is going to be Sam St. John. We have North Carolina Vinyl Picker, and we have Randall Nelson. So those are the 3 channels I discovered last year. I will go ahead and put some links down below to their channels if you want to go and check them out, and please check them out. So there you go. That's that one. So number 12, show a record you bought when you were a teenager. So it's going to come down to this one right here. which is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This is the actual one that I bought. I bought this, I believe, in 1981 or 82. I don't remember exactly. One of those 2 years. I would have been either 15 or 16 at the time. So it is in this purple capital label, as you see here. If you can take a look at this hole in the middle, it's kind of worn out because I played this album so many times when I was a teenager that I literally wore out the center hole in this record, and sometimes I have to center it whenever I put it on the record player to play this copy. But that is one of the records that I still have in my collection today, one of the very few ones that I bought when I was a teenager. Okay, number 13, show a funk or soul album. I'm not sure you can get much funkier than the Bar-Kays. This is their Black Rock album, but it is a funk soul album. It's very good. I really like the Bar-Kays a lot. I have several other records, so there you go. Okay, so number 14, show a record that I believe everybody has and show a record that I think nobody has. So we're going to go ahead and go with one everybody has, and of course, I'm probably not the only one, but we're going to have Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. I think most people have this album in their collection. It is pretty much a requirement. So I think this is a 2013 reissue of this. But there you go. That's that one. And the one that I think that nobody has, I'm going to go with this album here. This is from 1979, pressed on MCA Records. This is Storm. This is just the mainstream rock group. They only put out one album on this label in 1979. Then a couple years later, I think either 81, 82, they then put out a second album on Capitol Records, also called same group name Storm. Both these records, this one and the one from 80 or 81, whatever year it was, both of these records have no titles, so both these records are self-titled albums. But there we go. So the group only released 2 albums total. So there we go. I don't think anybody else has this. And this is Storm from 1979. Okay, so question number 15. She's Great, a record by a female artist that I bought in 2023. That would be this one here. This is Suzanne Fellini, and the name of the album is Heaven. So it's just a rock. She sings rock and roll, and she would go on to do backing vocals for Peter Criss. So it's also interesting about this is that it's on the Casablanca label. So, you know what? I have a lot of records in my collection. I don't have a lot of records that are on Casablanca because Casablanca was never really all that prolific. They didn't have a huge roster of artists that I've seen anyways. Mostly we have Kiss, we have Village People, we have Donna Summer. It's hard to come up with anything else that we can think of. I'm sure you can, okay? I'm sure you can, but it's hard for me to come up with much more than that appeared on the Casablanca label. So when I saw this one in the used record store, especially it being on the Casablanca label, I was like, you know what? I want to go and pick this up. I want to hear what this is. So, but anyways, there you go. This is Suzanne Fellini in Heaven. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next one, which is number 16, the favorite video you posted on your channel in 2023 and the favorite video that I watched in 2023. So about 4 months ago, I put a video up on my channel. I will go ahead and put a card above if you want to check it out. But it is chart-topping soundtracks. Now, this video, unfortunately, did not get a lot of traction. I think there was not a whole lot of interest out there in soundtracks. I'm big into soundtracks. I have just a room. I have, like, a lot of soundtracks and a lot of shelves over here with soundtracks on them. So I figured, why not go ahead and do this? Now, this is soundtracks that went to #1 on the U.S. album charts. There's not a whole lot of soundtracks that actually went to #1 on the U.S. album charts. So I figured it would make an interesting video to go ahead and talk about some of these soundtracks that I own that are in my collection that did go to #1 on the album chart. I think I did a pretty good job on the video, but I've only got like 56 views, and that was like 4 months ago. So I guess there's not a whole lot of people that would be interested in that, but I think it's a good video. I want to check it out. It's above. So anyways, that was the one that I really, really liked. And the one that I watched last year that I really, really liked, that would be from my good friend Mega Jeff over at Mega Jeff's Vinyl. I'll put a link down below to his channel and this video as well. But he did a 10 great albums from 1989. So good stuff. And he talked about some of the bands I really like, including Whitesnake, Motley Crue, and King's X, which are some great rock bands. So it was actually a really great video that he did. So there you go. That's that one. Number 17, show a record that you describe as a 1990s classic. And of course, have to go with some Van Halen and some For Unlawful Carnage. There you go. This is an unofficial pressing of it. It is pressed on red vinyl, but it's a great, it's for what it is, it's actually a really good sounding pressing. And of course, a big fan of Van Halen. So it doesn't matter if it's Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth, don't care. If it's Van Halen, I like it. But there you go. I think this here is a classic 90s album. All right, number 18, if you could walk into the cover, look through your collection and choose a record cover that you'd like to be a part of. So I will say this one here. This is Kool and the Gang Ladies Night, 1980s album. As you can see here, these young ladies are on the stair. They're heading somewhere. I want to go with them and wherever they're going to, because it looks like they're going to have a good time. Of course, I would be dressed accordingly. I would not go in this. But yeah, I really want to go to where they're going, and I really want to see what's up. So that would be the answer to that question. So question number 19. It's like a greatest hits. Show a record you're so familiar with that it feels like a greatest hits. And that, of course, would go to Forerunner 4. Just so many awesome songs on this record. So including Lil Ann and Jukebox Hero, Break It Up, Waiting for a Girl Like You, goes on and on and on. It just, every single song on this is awesome. So this is definitely one that I would think was the greatest hits. And the last question for you here is, show me an album that was released in 1974. So I picked this one up, I think it was in 2022, the end of 2022. I still haven't gotten around to opening yet. This is a MoFi one-step of this, but this was released in 1974. That's what it said right yet, 1974. This here is the Eagles on the Border. All right, and that's all I have for you on this video. I'm going to go ahead, start editing it, get this up. I hope everybody's having a great new year, and I'll see you all in my next video. Take care.